Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're doing coffee today. We're doing coffee today. Dang it. I usually try to put water in this mug and coffee in another mug. Guess we're gonna have to switch it up today. Everybody, welcome to Smell It Sunday. It's been a while since I've seen you because we had to put a little rain check. We had to postpone last week's Smell It Sunday. I see you guys kind of trickling in now. I wonder if the connection is okay. But Smell It Sunday, for those of you who are new, what is going on with Smell It Sunday? What is Smell It Sunday? I've been doing this for well over a year, and I still don't have an introduction to this show. This is how we get together as a group, as a community, to spread our love of nostalgia and things that we enjoy. We keep it positive, we keep it family friendly, and we just hang out, you know? You know what I'm talking about, man? Just hang out. Got a little tune going on here. Let's wait for everyone to get in. I'm gonna pull you guys up. I'm starting to see you guys from a distance. I see Aaron, I see Eric. Who else do we have in town? That thumbnail is terrible. All right, let's turn off the music. All right, so yeah, last weekend was my mother's birthday, and at the last minute, I decided to say, you know what, we could go live, but it's rare that I get to spend time with my family collectively, and it seemed like a lot of us were in one space at one time. So you know, we took a week off. I think that was really only the fourth time I've canceled or postponed a Smell It Sunday. Who do we have in the house? We are on our secondary channel today, aromatically speaking, which always means it's a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more calm. You know, I don't have, you know, it's a little less nerve-wracking for me because, you know, I don't know. For some reason, when I'm on the main channel, I feel like I have to put on like a QVC special. I don't mean like because I'm a salesman, but I mean like I have to put on that facade of, you know how they put on that facade? I'm just not making sense. I need more coffee. We have Angie, we have Laura, we have Suzanne, we have Aaron, we have Eric, we have Travis in the house, Carol, Laura, not Laura, Laura, Rhonda, help me Rhonda, Philly Candleman, Brett is in the house. Always great to see Brett. And I love his new little avatar. Well, I guess it's not new, but you see how it's got the PCM with the autumn leaves behind it? I think he's gonna change it every season. I think that's a really cool idea. Good branding on your part, Brett. And we have Nancy. And Nancy says, hi, I'm running late. Well, I just went live. I just went live a couple of minutes ago. How's the fan? I have the fan on. For me, it's kind of loud. So I'm gonna lower it down one notch. So we have a good amount of stuff to talk about. I have been absent for a while. It's not because I haven't been working. This is the new office. It's not done yet. You know, there's a lot of emptiness here. What I'm trying to do is keep this space and the space behind the camera that you can't see non-permanent. I want to be able to move and rearrange things as much as I possibly can. So this way, every video, things are a little bit different. You know, we got a book rack here today that's really lazily sitting on a stool. But we have Winnie the Pooh celebrating the release of Christopher Robin right here. So to put in perspective, my old office, if you're interested, the old office was, I used to sit right here. This is where my desk was. And that was the back wall. That was the back wall where the computer was, where Santa Claus used to sit. Now there's a window. So let's talk to you folks. Let's see what you guys are saying. and then I'm gonna start breaking out some things to show you what's going on for the rest of the month. What some exciting news that has kind of what's the word? I guess some exciting news that has shown itself over the past couple days. And Philly Candleman says he plans on changing his avatar every season. Nikki says, I love The Office. Thank you very much. It went through so many different phases of conceptually what it was going to be. Originally, it was going to be this mid-century living room. That didn't work out. And then it was going to become like this beach house. And I'm like, you know, I'm not really a beach person. You guys know this about me. And then I thought, you know, what about like a general country store? And I'm like, you know, that's maybe a little bit too New England for all of our crowd. So I kind of just mixed everything I could together. And like I said, it's really bare at the moment. There's artwork, there's shelvings. I'm going to have some display screens around the room. The lighting rigs on the ceiling are not quite finished yet. But thank you for everyone who's making comments, because it really was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. But I am excited. It's a much more comfortable space to be in here now. Other than the summer heat, because I don't like to have the AC on while I'm filming. It makes noise. Other than that, it's a much more comfortable space. Rhonda says, thank you, Shane. I received my witch's cauldron from eBay. It's everything you said it is. Now I don't want to burn it because I don't want to run out. I understand, Rhonda. I think all of us at some point deal with that problem. We have a candle, we buy it, we love it, but then we're like, dang, I can't burn this. But I don't know. Let's see if Mike Kittredge pulls the trigger on bringing back this limited edition. We'll see. It's kind of running out of time, if you ask me. But we might, you know, maybe one day we'll see a re-release. But I'm glad you have that candle, because at least it's in the Kringle jar. I think that's just. I just have this suspicion if it's repoured, if it's remade, they might make it a little bit more friendly for the masses. You know, they might dial back some of the aggressive notes on it. But who knows? Picked up Which City Wicks Trick or Treat Friday night. Suzanne, you are, I think, are gonna love it. How do I know? How could I possibly know? Because I'm gonna show you right here. I'm sorry that all the boxes are open, but I just finished an epic six candle evaluation last night. I was working on it for 2 days. It was just, I filmed a good portion of it. I wasn't happy with my performance. I wanted to make it very atmospheric here in the audience, in the office. And, you know, I decided to just start over from scratch. But in a moment, I'm going to break out these candles and show you. I mean, I know you've seen the Instagram posts, but I'll give you kind of a brief breakdown of the fragrances. I'm familiar with all of them, but Trick or Treat was a new experience because it's a brand new candle. So we'll talk about Which City Wicks. Also, if you look in the headlines here, Chris is saying The Office looks great. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm thinking about calling it the Burn Room. Why the Burn Room? Well, the Burn Room is what Yankee Candle calls their laboratory. They have a room. It's not one of those chambers that you saw in Undercover Boss, but it's a room where they test out the intensity of the candles, and something like they burn over 20,000 candles in this room every year at headquarters. And I always thought that was a cool name for a candle company. So I'm thinking about calling this the Burn Room. But I don't know. If someone can come up with a better name for the office, I'll be happy to take it. No. Okay. So here's a big thing, Carol. I want to say this right off the bat. I was thinking about going on the main channel and announcing this because a lot of people are actually coming to me and are like, "What is going on with Which City Wicks being sold out?" So Carol says, "I noticed that Which City Wicks is again sold out on their Halloween selections." Now I actually have Liz's email printed. I don't know why I printed it out. I know why I printed it out. I needed it last night for something. But don't worry, guys. Of course, she is going to restock. The initial release, which was August 3rd, is just a small little taste. It's for those who are sitting there waiting by the computer. The moment they go on sale, bam. Go on sale, bam, I made my purchase. They're on sale, here it comes, bam, I made my purchase. That's it. She only makes enough for that initial sale. But if you've purchased Which City Wicks candles before in the past, you know that if you follow Liz or Which City Wicks on Instagram, she gives you plenty of notice when she will be restocking. I don't know how much I can share with you what Liz's agenda is in the coming weeks, but she has a big project which is going to be occupying her time. When she comes back, she's gonna sleep for a couple days, right? She's gonna need some rest for this. But then, trust me, through the month of September uh, and probably late August, they will be restocked. So you have to be vigilant. You have to not just sit around and willy-nilly check out the website to purchase. You have to be vigilant to make sure when they're restocked, you put in your orders because they do sell out quick. And we all know the ones that sell out fast. I mean, all of them sold out quickly this year, but Sleepy Hollow is always the hardest for her to keep, not only in stock on the website, but even on the shelf in the store in Salem. Angie Clementine says she must have some hardcore fans. She really has. I mean, I first met Liz several years ago, and she had a shop at one point. But at the point, at the time that I met her, she didn't. She was just doing internet sales, and she was going from festival to festival, like a pop-up tent, selling her candles, peddling her candles, and the growth of her company over the past 2-3 years has been exponential, and she has said on multiple occasions that you guys, fans of the candle enthusiast, have been some of her best customers, some of the nicest customers, some of the most supportive customers. And you have no idea how, well, first of all, that must make her feel good, but you have no idea how good that makes me feel because, like I said, Liz and I, we're not sponsored, we're not like in cahoots, right? Like, I'm not trying to peddle her candles. I'm just a good friend, and I really admire her as an artist and as a businesswoman, and really she's she's self-made. She's never had a mentor. She's never worked for a candle company. She's never had someone sit her down and say, "Here's how you make a candle." She just worked and worked and worked and figured it out on her own. And in my opinion, it's one of, if not the greatest, small batch candle company products I've ever smelled. If it's not one of the greatest, it is the greatest, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm so happy to see that you have so much support for Liz, because she truly is passionate. So the bottom line is they will be restocked. Trust me. Cool setup in the background. Yeah, it wasn't. This is temporary. If you can see right there, we have a box of Count Chocula. It's about 5 years old, so I don't think you want to eat it, but it's Count Chocula. We got Winnie the Pooh. We have that Boris Karloff statue down here. We have a cookie jar, but it's actually really a coffee canister. I really try to do the best I can because this was very Halloween last night. So setting up this morning, I really try to change it as much as I could. And it took me, just to clean up from last night, took me several hours. So, what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Witch City Wicks first. It seems like that's what's on everyone's mind. Let's take a look at these candles real quick. Just so everybody knows, Witch City Wicks has several collections. She has a House of Wax collection. She has kind of her more botanical, not so gothic, not so spooky collection. She has a collection of her oddity candles and her limited editions as well. I'm looking at 6 here. My Witch City Wicks collection is on, you see this rack right here? That's where all my Yankees are, right? But if I pan the camera, which I won't because it's really messy, if I pan the camera over here, this is where I have my Witch City Wicks collection. And I'm looking at least a dozen others that I will be evaluating. But these had to come first. So, real quick, oh, the lighting is so much better here than out in the porch. This is great. So, Black Bat. Now, this, like I said, Trick or Treat is the only new fragrance. But Black Bat has been around for quite a few years. At least 4, 5 maybe. But you can see all brand new labels. And they're not just like tweaked. They're definitely reconceptualized. Reconceptualized? We have the kind of this diorama, panoramic view. I love that. And we have our vampire bat. Like I said, I want to show you the labels, and I'm going to give you a quick kind of breakdown what these smell like. Because I definitely don't want to ruin the video, spoil the video that I spent about a day and a half, and I still have to edit for about another, God only knows how many hours. I don't want to ruin that video for you guys, but this is a spiced up beverage. This is a mulled cider. This is cinnamon stick. This is baking spice galore. But never, ever, ever will we be talking about, when we're talking about Witch City Wicks, a baking spice explosion. No. It just doesn't happen. Liz fully understands. She gets baking spices, and she knows how to use them as nuances, as accents, right? I think the last thing that we need are more candles, or Halloween candles, that are just huge baking spice explosions. But there's definitely some baking spices in here, and we're getting some exotic ones as well. When I say exotic, I mean just not the typical New England spices. More of like chai masala, you know, star anise, cardamom, things like that. But no question, this is a fruity, non-apple kind of cider experience. Red fruit all of the way. Red currant, raspberry, sour cherry, cranberry. It makes me think of winter berries. I'm sharing too much information because I want to save this for my in-depth reviews. Really, ultimately, what this is a pomegranate cider. You know, pomegranate cider wasn't on the menu when I was a kid growing up in New England. Pomegranate, I don't even think I knew what it was when I was living in New York. So this is a fun a fun deviation from the norm for me. It may not be for a lot of you. The pomegranate cider was not something that I would have in beverage form growing up. So Black Bats, so spiced up red fruits, mulled pomegranate cider. Let's keep this going. Again, look at these boxes. Get that very Tim Burton. We have like kind of the Beetlejuice pinstriped boxes, and she chose these boxes for very specific reasons. I don't know if I want to share the reason why. Well, I guess I can. She didn't. This is the only way she found that people would not kind of not steal, but maybe steal. It's the only way people would not steal her packaging, because this is so distinct that if anyone bought a box and put their candles in a box like this, they'd know right away, oh, that's what Which City Wicks does. So very smart marketing on her part. Trick or Treat. So here is the new candle, Trick or Treat. And even the front labels are a little bit different. I'll show you what I mean. Here is the Salem candle. This, I believe, was last year's Salem candle, where the Halloween collection, a little bit different, a little bit different. I like it. It kind of looks like, you know, the purple and the green and the black kind of reminds me of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. This label's out of control. Again, a lot of you probably have seen these on Instagram, but let me do my best. It's hard for me to see. You know what? I can just look at the screen right here. So we have the owl perched on the branch. Trick or Treat. That owl kind of just peering into our eyes, as if to say, "What are you doing? It's spooky out. Go inside." The owl is judging us. So what is the fragrance of this candle? Without giving too much away, this really is. This is how I'm going to explain it right now. If you were to go trick or treating in the early 20th century, and you brought your trick or treat sack, right? Your bucket of candy, right? You went out. At the end of the night, when you got home, and if you stuck your face inside of that bag of your tricks or treats, whether it be the bag or the bucket, this is what it would smell like. This is not contemporary candy. This is not even candy that was, that reminds me of my own childhood, right? This has a very distinct old-timey, old-fashioned candy, like that old general store that has those nostalgic candies. Nothing tart, nothing sour, no chocolate bars, nothing nutty, nothing caramel, nothing toffee. But the other notes, which I'll save, absolutely incredible. There's no other candle. There's no other candle that I can mention that I've ever smelled that takes this approach, whether it be a Halloween candle or something else. So a very happy and welcomed addition to Which City Wicks Halloween collection. Let's keep this going. I'm going to do this quick. I don't want to spend too much time because we have so much to talk about. Poison apple. And I want to make sure that I'm addressing you guys too. Burn Room is a good name for the office. If you guys notice, we got Eric Peter Carlson in the house, and he's saying the new setup looks really great. Thank you, Eric. Eric knows. I've talked to him on the phone a lot and told him, complained to him how much work it was actually taking me to pull this off. I thought I could have it done in a couple days. I was wrong. This is important. I always forget to mention this. When you look at the live stream chats that pop up, there's a little icon on top. One says, it's kind of like a drop-down box. One says top chat, and the other one says live chat. Hit live chat. Live chat will organize the comments in chronological order. That is what's always messing me up. Because it's weird, because sometimes I'll get like a response to a question I asked like 15 minutes prior, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's because I have it on top chat. So poison apple. What does poison apple look like? What does it smell like? This is a much different label than what we saw in previous years. In previous years, we probably remember seeing that Snow White inspired poison apple. You know, the poison dripping down the apple with kind of creating the skull-like face on top of the apple. Well, it is completely changed. We have these apple trees tucked away somewhere in a deep, dark, black forest with that ominous glow. Look at that face. Look at that face. Don't eat that apple. Don't eat that apple. look at it, take a picture of it, share it on Instagram, but don't eat that apple. There's no good that can come from it. And if we're thinking that this is going to be your straight up green apple candle, straight up Macintosh apple, if we think this is going to be like green apple with maybe a little bit of wood in there to give it this apple crate effect, we're dealing with some spices, but spices that lay low, man. They lay low. And when you burn this, they're only going to mellow out even more. But definitely, again, that mulled, hot, spiced cider, kind of like the cider that you can buy in the streets during the autumn seasons of Salem, Massachusetts. Eric Peter Carlson can testify to that. He lived in Salem, Massachusetts for several years. Eric, if you're still here, tell me how great that apple cider was, and tell me if you miss it. He's probably gone already. But this is more than just an apple cider or an apple candle. There's an extreme presence, big presence of the skins, the seeds, the stems. This is like macerated apples. This is mashed up apples. If you've ever made your own applesauce, if you've made apple cider yourself, or if you've made some, hard cider, even better, I think you'll recognize a lot of the solids of the fruit are in here. So, the backdrop is the cider, but we have also those other wonderful notes, the fragrant skins, the woodiness of the stems, that distinct smell of the apple core. Whew. Man, oh man, I'm telling you. I don't know how to, like, if someone said to me, pick one or two for me to buy, I don't know how I would do this, because they've all become crazy favorites. Let's keep this going. We have Sleepy Hollow, the very first candle that I ever purchased from Which City Wicks. If you go to my main channel, The Candle Enthusiast, and you type in Sleepy Hollow, The Candle Enthusiast, or Sleepy Hollow TCE, The Candle Enthusiast, you'll find several videos, but I essentially bought this candle. This is my introduction to Which City Wicks. I bought this candle because I heard a few things about it. A lot of people raved about it, but I really was expecting just a novelty candle. I was expecting to get a candle like, oh, it smells like pumpkin spice. It smells like Starbucks. I wasn't expecting anything. And then, literally, on camera, when you see me smelling I'm in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. It's during the day. It's not like when I was in Salem and it was at night, but I was during the day. When you see me smell that candle in the video, that legitimately was the first time I was smelling that candle. These days, I when I get a candle in, I smell them, kind of make my brief notes, my initial impressions, think about it a little bit. This way I can, it doesn't take me so long to film an evaluation. I have like a direction of where I want, what I want to talk about it, where I want to take the idea of the concept. But back in the early days, I never smelled the candles before I presented them on video. And I still have one of the two candles. And Liz would kill me if she knew I never burned it. But I bought one to burn, one to use in my video. You can see the original black tissue paper wrap in there. And so that is a beautiful label. That, the golden amber backdrop reminds me of the sun setting in upstate New York. The sun cutting through all of the multicolored leaves, the golden foliage, casting that golden light on everything around you in Sleepy Hollow or Tarrytown. And then we have that blue and pink horizon. The raven, which is a staple of the label of this candle. And of course we have the Hessian Trooper, the headless horseman of Sleepy Hollow, in search of his lost head. Oh man. That will, again, because of memory and nostalgia and that special moment that day discovering that candle. That one will probably never be lit. I burned the other one the the moment I finished that video. But the new label, check it out, check it out. It's much different, guys. Cold blue, highlighted colors. We have the slate gray sky and the jet black silhouettes of the Headless Horseman, the tombstones, the gates. This, what's interesting about this, and I touch on this on my review, the older Sleepy Hollow label is kind of what I think of when I think of visiting upstate New York, Tarrytown, going to the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, driving through the little hollow, the little hamlet. But this kind of takes that Tim Burton 1999 film look, does it not? Tim Burton went on record several times saying that he wanted his version of Sleepy Hollow to not necessarily look, he filmed it in London, so anything but New England looking, but he wanted the film aesthetically to have that cold blue steel color, you know, the cinematography. Very much like a Hammer horror film, you know, the British horror films, you know, with Vincent Price and Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, the Dracula films, the Edgar Allan Poe films. And that's exactly what this is reminding me of right here. And I will fully admit, I haven't watched any of the sitcom, not the sitcom, the drama series on TV. I watched the pilot 1 or 2 times, but I just, I never got around to watching the whole series. But I'm guessing, maybe there's inspiration pulled from that show as well. I'm not sure if Liz was a fan of that show. And Carol says, very Burton-esque indeed. Yes, I agree. But the smell. That candle, 2.5 years old. This was poured, I don't know when Liz made this, maybe a month ago. They smell exactly the same. So, testament, if you like a candle and you want to purchase more than one, you want to stock up on the wax melts, they age well. I won't mention the companies that I believe that the candles don't hold up well. I don't want to do that. If you want to write me an email and you want to ask me what I think, what candles don't hold up well with age, I'll let you know. But Witch City Wicks candles hold up very well, and I think that's a testament to the quality of the fragrance oils, the essential oils, and the soy wax that she is using. But for a Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow candle, this is surprisingly big time apple, right? Big time apple. We have apple pie spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, clove. We do have some pumpkin spice in there. You know, there's maybe a little bit of ginger. We definitely have a roasted kind of pumpkin, so it's not skipping on the pumpkin aspect. But there's other things there that help us in our mind go outside. This candle will bring us outside. It will bring us to those old creepy trails in the middle of the night, those old logging trails, the carriage trails. It'll bring us there when we burn this here. It does have a lot of outdoor smell. So although it's incredibly delicious to the point where you want to eat it or drink it, very authentically outdoors as well. There's no question in my mind why this is one of the hottest sellers. This is an incredible candle, and what's more is that it totally fits Sleepy Hollow. It's not just a great Halloween candle, but it's a great Headless Horseman candle. It's a great Sleepy Hollow candle. It's a great upstate New York candle. To me, this is home. This is home. This is home in the fall and autumn. You guys know this. I grew up in apple country in upstate New York, and when I smell this, no matter where I am, whether I'm in California, whether I'm in New Zealand, this will take me home. And to me, that's what candles are all about. Moving on. Are you ready? Are you ready? I made a post a couple days ago and I said something to the effect like, visit Which City Wicks and find out why I'll be burning at least three of these candles this season. And that was not a bluff. This is, again, I don't want to recycle what I say in my videos, but this is to me, please don't dismiss this as a pumpkin spice craze. You know what I mean? Pumpkin spice craze. We all know what that is. I don't know when exactly it started. The pumpkin spice latte by Starbucks was introduced in 2003. So maybe that's when it started. But every year, all autumn long, we're subjected to everything pumpkin spice. And I'm not complaining about that because I fall for it every time. I'll fully admit, I'm the first one in line waiting to buy pumpkin spice bubblegum. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or Trader Joe's pumpkin spice tortilla chips. Incredible. And mixed with their Harvest pumpkin spice salsa. Man. Anyway, but for the sake of this candle, for the sake of trying to, create an understanding of this candle, take this whole pumpkin spice craze, put it aside, pretend like it never happened, put it away, dig deeper, think back into your past further, whether you're a child, a teenager, whether it was just prior to 2003. Think about Thanksgiving morning. Think about the month of October. Walking home when you get off the school bus. I had to get off the school bus and walk home, and you'd walk by all the houses in my neighborhood, and you would just smell. I mean, I'm being a little bit romantic here, but go with me, right? You'd walk by the houses, and you would just smell through the kitchen windows all of these sweet treats just pouring out of the windows. This, to me, is so incredibly nostalgic. This is, let me show you the label. This is the ultimate pumpkin pie, pumpkin donut, pumpkin spice with tons of pumpkin. There's no skimping on the pumpkin. There's pumpkin in here. But the most decadent pumpkin candle I could ever recommend. There's nothing that even comes close to touching this candle. It is so sweet and it's so creamy. It pushes the envelope in every direction that it delves into. It's, like I said, it's super sweet, it's super creamy. The spices are turned up. Remember in Back to the Future, Marty McFly in the beginning, he turns up the amplifier all the way. Think about that when you think about this candle. This is Marty McFly turning up that amplifier to the max. Because not only is it super intense, but it is just pushing the envelope in every way. The pumpkin, the spice, the cream, the cane sugar sweetness, and it's not typical. It's not the pumpkin pie, the pumpkin spice crazed profile. If anything, there's a little bit of apple pie spice here. Again, we're dipping into more of those exotic spices, the masala chai spices. We could even smell this and say, this smells like a beverage. We could say, this smells maybe not like a pumpkin pie, this smells like a cheesecake. We can take this in so many directions because all of the ingredients that we need to create your favorite pumpkin treat in your head inside of this candle. And it's so intense. So intense. Man, I mean, to me, like last night, I'm thinking more cheesecake. Now I'm thinking more of like, a cupcake with like I guess maybe like a cream cheese pumpkin spice frosting. Your mind will just take off in any direction it wants to when you smell this candle. But one thing is for sure, please don't just categorize this. as a typical pumpkin spice candle. We have one more candle left. And arguably the most hardcore Halloween candle of the collection. Let me look at you guys real quick. Let's see what's happening. Angie Clementine's saying, I think it's an Adam the Woo t-shirt. It is an Adam the Woo t-shirt. Adam the Woo, where in the world? I apologize if sometimes I should be wearing a different shirt for every live that I do, but honestly, Sunday's first shirt on top of the drawer is the one I'm putting on. Plus blue's, I don't know, blue's like always been my color. Do the labels glow in the dark, Shane? They don't. They look like they would. However, here's a tip. And darn, I don't have a black light with me. But if you have, go on Amazon. Go on Amazon and buy like an $8 black light. Whether it be a fluorescent bulb, a bulb you just screw in, or even like twinkle lights. Just buy a black light of some sort. Because of the tint of the colors, not so much maybe this one right here, but definitely that pumpkin head one, they will react with the black light. So they don't naturally glow in the dark, but if you put a black light on them, like if you make a display, and you just put like a little black light, like twinkle lights, or a little fluorescent bulb, all of them will become phosphorescent and they will glow in the dark. So that's just my little tip. I'm surprised more candle companies don't suggest folks do that, because especially with white wax. Here's a Kringle candle right here, white wax, right? Guess what? You put a black light on that, that is going to be like bright green. It's going to look like a witch's poison green glowing color. So black lights are definitely the way to go. Eric says they restock on Fridays. From the past, that has been the case. I wonder if that is the case this year too, Eric. I'm sure that would be the case, because she released them on Friday. I don't know if they'll be restocked by this Friday. But Eric, thank you for putting that out there. I'm not usually into pumpkins. Eric also says, I'm not usually a pumpkin spice fan, but I loved Pumpkinhead so much. So there's a testament right there from Eric that he didn't allow the pumpkin spice craze to get in the way of his love of the candle, the fragrance Pumpkinhead. And can we just take a vote right now? What was the best on-screen monster of all time? Now, I know a lot of people are going to want to say Boris Karloff, Frankenstein, or Bela Lugosi, Dracula, Lon Chaney Jr., the Wolfman, or even going back further, Lon Chaney Sr., London After Midnight, or Phantom of the Opera. All of those are great, but really, not just monster, but creature. The best on-screen monster, creature monster. And the reason why I ask this is because, to me, it's always been between two. And Laura's saying Pumpkinhead is the best monster ever. And so Pumpkinhead, for me, it's always been Pumpkinhead or the Predator. And I just forget about all of the sequels and the franchise. Just think of the original, Schwarzenegger film. Both of those monsters were created by the same genius who left this earth way too soon, Stan Winston. Stan Winston even directed the film Pumpkinhead. The only thing that I think makes Predator the better creature, the better monster, was because Pumpkinhead, if you know a little bit of like the making of the film, was quite possibly the hardest. It was a puppet, essentially, and it was the hardest thing for them to manipulate on screen. They were very limited to how much they could show the monster, how much they could see the monster move. It would constantly break. The foam rubber would constantly tear. But if you haven't seen the 1989 Stan Winston film Pumpkinhead, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but man, is that monster or creature? Is that man? If you like monsters, check it out. I'm melting a pumpkin spice wax right now, says Laura. But I wish I had Pumpkinhead. I bet I would love it. I bet you would. I bet you would. Remember, they come in wax melts that you get a decent amount of wax. I mean, I think most companies give you the same amount of wax when it comes to melts. But also the travel tins, too. The travel tins, check it out. Guess what I have right here? Pumpkinhead. These, surprisingly, for as small as they are, I don't have an ounce on here. 2 ounces. 2 ounces on these. These, amazingly, a wick placement problem on this one. However, this one was given to me by Liz for strictly camera reasons, so maybe that's why she gave me this one. But these will fill up a small space efficiently. Like your living room, of course not. But you know, if, like here in an office, yeah, absolutely. So don't forget about this option too. However, I don't know if Liz is releasing them in travel tins, the Halloween collection this year in travel tins. Somebody let me know if she is. Candle company called UV Candles makes UV reacted wax. They do, Brett. I have some right here. So, a while ago we did a live video where we put this to the test. But here's the company that Brett is referring to. UV Candles sent me tons of wonderful products. I'm forgetting the gentleman's name at the moment. He joins us every so often. His name is not on the business card. But check this out. And again, I wish I had my black light. And I'm going to show you this last Witch City Wicks candle in just a second. But look at what Brett's talking about. Can you see this? So not only will this skull react to a black light, but if you look close, you see how it's red in there? There is a red brain inside of this skull. So when this is lit with the black light, you will get a green skull with a bright red brain that shines through. And when it melts, oh my God, it's an illumination wax extravaganza, for the lack of a better word. So a little shout out to UV Candles. Thanks for bringing that up, Brett. Nancy says, I love The Office. So many great words on The Office. Thank you so much. We have Lou in the house. Hello, how we doing? Travis says that candle is cool. It's if you want to check out UV Candles, it's very easy to remember. UVcandles.com. Go check them out. And don't wait too long, because I'm sure this is a very busy time of the year for them. And let them know that I sent you. And Cookie Hill says, wow, I want that skull. You know what, Cookie, send me an email. I think, I might have a couple of them. If you want it that bad, maybe I can send one to you. Just, you know my email, right? Cookie? Or any of the different ways to get a hold of me. Just get a hold of me somehow. Cookie and I go back a long way. And if Ross is watching, a big shout out to Ross too. He just introduced himself to me on Twitter just a few days ago, and had very nice things to say. All right, here we go. And if you guys asked a question and I didn't answer it, and you really want me to answer it, don't be afraid to post it again. because I'm letting these comments get away from me. But I really do want to, I don't want to postpone this too much. All Hallows Eve. All Hallows Eve used to look like this. All right, this is what we, for the past couple of years, this is what we've been, this is what we've, we've known of All Hallows Eve. We have the castle, we have the black cats, the hazy night, that twisted, mangled tree with this beautiful combination of golden, yellow, and green horizon hues. But check out the difference. Oh, good God. Lots of differences. We still have our crow. We have that clear blue sky, the stars, the moon, the crescent moon, the vampire bat, and look at that font. If you guys think that Liz whips these labels up in a couple of hours, I just really want to remind you that that's not the case. Please take it from me. She puts a lot of thought. She doesn't clutter her labels purposely, but she puts tons of thought into them. And she was telling me how long it took for her to finalize these labels, and I can completely get it. I'm not a digital artist. I'm more of a pencil paper person, but I understand exactly where she's coming from. All Hallows Eve, this is the Halloween candle for the Halloween person, right? You know who you are out there, those folks who live and breathe Halloween. Those of you who are out there who live for the months of September, October, November. Those folks who just perpetually live in a world of horror films, Bela Lugosi. Maybe you go outside every morning and you see the world in black and white, and I don't mean that I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean black and white because you yearn for the world to be like an old, decrepit horror film, right? This is for the true Halloween horror film fan. Maybe not horror film fan, but just Halloween and October, spooky in general. This candle is off the charts authentic. It takes a much larger authentic approach than all of the other Halloween candles that I've talked about. There's other ingredients here at play that I will talk about very specifically, and how they work and what they bring to this candle. Again, when my full video is posted, I will share you, to the best of my knowledge, what I think Liz is doing here to create the authenticity of this candle. But this isn't just a poetic expression of being outside in the middle of October or Halloween night or All Hallows Eve. You really, if you close your eyes and you let your imagination go there, you will find yourself lost somewhere in a meadow. The sun is gone. The moon is your only source of illumination. You can smell all of the things around you. This is not just a picture. Usually I try to paint a portrait when I smell a candle. This is a journey. There's a narrative to this candle, right? There's a story here. And man, there's just so few people who can pull this off. And I think this is a shining example of how Liz is a storyteller. And she's so humble that she won't even admit it. But this candle tells a story. So breaking it down, this is earthy, this is woody, this is herbal, this is grassy, this is green. But it's a big, fruity, delicious candle too, right? So we have a bit of a collision happening here. We have an extremely authentic, spooky, kind of haunting aromas. Very witchy, very Halloween-like, very outdoorsy, in a fun, spooky kind of way. Kind of like Sally and Linus out in the pumpkin patch on Halloween night. Maybe this is the ultimate it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown candle. Maybe I should address that in a future video, because we do have that outdoor setting, earthy, woody, mossy, all that great stuff. But there's a deliciousness side to this candle. So, whew, man, you know, I mean, I recommend every single one of these candles, but I'll you know what? This is what I'll do. I'll at least give you this. For me, if I could only pick 2 of these candles, oh man, could it be 3? If I could only pick 2 of these candles for Halloween, it's going to be, this is the hardest question. I don't know why I proposed this question for myself. It's going to be All Hallows Eve. And Sleepy Hollow. I was this close to saying Pumpkinhead, but, oh God. Either one. Pumpkinhead, Sleepy Hollow. Let's just pick 3. Pumpkinhead, Sleepy Hollow, All Hallows Eve. But it's hard because all 6 of these are incredibly amazing. Not to mention that outside of her Halloween collection, she has tons of candles that will certainly work for Halloween. So that's a great tip as well. If she's all sold out of her Halloween stuff, you know, I'm looking at several things here, like I don't want to get the names confused. Black Apple. Black Apple is another fantastic apple scent. Church and Seance. We have our new Nightfall candle. We have Bite Me, which is her vampire candle. Wolf Moon. Wolf Moon comes in 2 different formats. It comes in Wolf Moon Black, which is a black tumbler, black wax, and it comes in her House of Wax collection as well, and so many others. Her rarities are, excuse me, not rarities, her oddities collection has some spooky fragrances, but man, like she has her Stardust candle, the David Bowie inspired fragrance, is beautiful, not in a haunting, spooky way at all. And Viking is another one that I absolutely love. But I love them all. But we do have to continue. Let's move on. What are you guys saying? So next topic is Marilyn Monroe, but let's skip that for a second. Let me just quickly post this. If you guys haven't seen my Colonial Candle Cobweb Collection video yet, I did something very special. We all were so happy. Myself, Anthony from Candle Cafe, Brett from Philly Candleman, and Doug from Spooky Villages, we all kind of, corresponded with each other. If you guys do want to know, we chat outside of YouTube, because we've become close friends. And, just for example, Brett helped me find a candle I just couldn't find. And he was nice enough to send it my way. I've collaborated with Anthony. I'm soon going to be doing a close collaboration with Doug from Spooky Villages. We just become very friendly. But what we did was we posted all of our videos of these 2 candles at precisely the same time. I was a little bit late. I was about 45 minutes late because I was editing like a madman to get mine done in time. But we all posted them at the same time. The way we did this is we contacted Colonial Candle because they kind of gave us a date to be like, post a video around this time, and it was like August. And I'm like, oh guys, we gotta post this sooner than that. So I talked to the fine folks at Colonial. They gave us the green light to go ahead. They knew all 4 of us. They knew that we were positive candle reviewers. They had the best of intentions. They gave us the green light to go early because all of the other candles that went out, everyone just got this date where they're like, you don't post your video before this date, and it was like August 16th or August 15th. So we did our evaluation, and then 2 days later, guess what? The candles became available for sale. So it's it's kind of a really special thing, because you think about it, what we did, the four of us, made Colonial Candle pull the trigger and say, let's release these candles early, almost a month early. That is I don't know. To me, I mean, usually, like, I'm not, like, I don't, like, pat myself on the shoulder or anything like that, but I think what we did, the four of us, was really gratifying, and to have them release the candles early, because we we built the excitement of those candles so much that people wanted to get their hands on them, was really fun. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. And if you haven't seen my video, it's a monster. It's really long. I wish I could have cut it down a couple minutes, but time was an issue. I had to get that video done, and so when you watch it, feel free to skim a little bit here and there if you feel like I'm being redundant, because usually I would have cut it down a little bit. But I think, I covered those two candles from top to bottom, as far as the fragrance notes, what I was smelling, what it was triggering in my mind as far as my imagination and my nostalgia. And if you're thinking about buying those candles, I'm recommending you do, especially at the price point. But I think if you watch my video or any of the other gentlemen's videos, I think we kind of paint a clear portrait of what those fragrances were. And like I said, just to be perfectly clear, all four of us were advocates of these candles, which is the reason why we posted them early. We're not giving them phony thumbs ups because we received free candles in the mail. They sent them to us because maybe they like our reviews. I don't know. Anyway, so Colonial Candle. I've never burned a Colonial Candle before, so I'm excited to burn both of these this Halloween. I might even buy more. I'm thinking about including those two candles in the subscription box for September or October. The Candle Enthusiast subscription box. A little plug there. You notice how I did that? Patreon.com/The Candle Enthusiast, or go to patreon.com. If someone could link it up for me, that'd be great. Just spell Patreon, because some people don't know how Patreon is spelled. But if you go to Patreon and just type in The Candle Enthusiast, it'll kind of give you my, kind of like my, it's like my business mission, like what I want to accomplish with this channel. And it shows you different ways how you can support the channel. And one of those ways is to become a member of the subscription box family. So great stuff goes into those boxes. That's my Patreon plug for the day. Now, something else I have in store for you guys for Halloween, and maybe someone out there, maybe someone can help me. I want to do an Edgar Allan Poe candle show-off. Show-off? I gotta think of a better word. Show-off is not a word. Standoff. That's the word I'm looking for. Standoff, right? I had planned to pick 4 Edgar Allan Poe themed candles that I like, that I admire, that I had burned before, and do a side-by-side evaluation of all 4 of them while making a very Edgar Allan Poe-like video. Have a little fun, maybe get in costume. Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My alarm was going off on my phone. There was a pause. So like I was saying, I wanted to do a standoff of 3 fragrances. So, but the problem is, one of the fragrances is now retired. So if anyone can find it, even if it's burned, I don't care. I looked on eBay, I looked on Amazon. It was a candle produced by, I'm sure a lot of you folks know this company, Werther and Gray. They make fantastic candles. They kind of make literary candles, they make historical candles, they make spooky candles. They do outside the box concepts. They have like a film noir candle, which is great. They have this one right here that I've been showing you guys for years. I just can't find the perfect time to witch's hunt. I haven't burned it, obviously, and I haven't evaluated it based solely on the name. The name kind of disturbs me. Anyway, they have an Edgar Allan Poe candle. They made it at one point. The other candle companies, one that you guys are probably familiar with, this is by Patty Wax. Now, Patty Wax, you can find these candles at Barnes & Noble. They are a retailer of this company. In this format, the 6.5 ounce tumbler, you get this really nice box. And this collection is called The Library. And I think they have a Jane Austen candle, they have a Mark Twain candle, they have several different authors. Let's take just a quick look. I just got this in the mail the other day. I've never burned it before. So we have this number one, okay, series, number one of the series, Edgar Allan Poe, this kind of frosted black glass tumbler, 6.5 ounce wax tumbler. Whoa. Wow, okay, that'll be fun. So I want to pair this off. We'll talk about that candle. Now this will happen, I'll post this video, hopefully maybe September, October. We also have Burke and Hare. Do you guys know Burke and Hare? Burke and Hare is another great spooky gothic company. Great Instagram presence. They have a candle, I think if Chris is still with us, a candle that he's always talking about, Nevermore. Obviously in reference to Edgar Allan Poe, or more specifically, The Raven. And so this candle was sent to me by Burke and Hare last year. I never had a chance to evaluate it, but I think I have a great topic now. So we have Patty Wax, we have Burke and Hare, much smaller batch company. And another small batch company, a company that you might have heard before, Witch City Wicks. That's right, this was a limited edition of an Edgar Allan Poe fragrance that Liz carried. And it came with a counterpart, an H.P. Lovecraft candle. The original, this is a second run. The original candle smelled a little bit different. Maybe I shouldn't say smelled a little bit different, but this had to be reformulated because, again, I've said this earlier in the video or I didn't say this. One of Liz's Halloween candles from last year, she had to stop making it. It's discontinued because one of the key ingredients became discontinued, the fragrance oils. So Liz had to find a way to reformulate this candle, and she did a fantastic job. And this was gifted to me by Liz last year as well, and I never got to talk about it. I also have the H.P. Lovecraft here too. So we're gonna do a standoff of Witch City Wicks, Edgar Allan Poe, Burke and Hare, Nevermore, and Patty Wax Library Collection, Edgar Allan Poe. And if I can get that, if anyone can help me find, I've looked, if anyone can help me find that Werther & Gray candle, I'm going to keep looking for it. I believe it had maybe black currant, rosewood for sure, but maybe black currant was in there as well. I can't remember all of the fragrance notes, but it had this deep purple colored wax. That would be a fun little Halloween video for this upcoming season. Wait, what happened here? Anyone else seeing connection sound issues? Yes, thanks guys. Yes, yep. Yeah, video but not sound issues. Seems like it's okay now. Okay, well that's good. Well, that whole Edgar Allan Poe thing might have been a complete waste of time. I hope you guys at least heard what I was saying. All right. So what is left on the agenda, and then we'll do some like Q and A. How about some Q and A? We did some Q and A 2 weeks ago, and that was tons of fun. Can you guys see right there? That is my witch's brew. Remember that? I had one of these up on eBay, but that one is mine right there, right next to the 2018 witch's brew. And then up here we have a mid 1980s. What is that? Spiced apple, I believe. Just want to point that out. Okay, so Marilyn Monroe. You guys are like, what the heck am I talking about? Marilyn Monroe. I've addressed this a couple times in the past. That back in 2008, I was in Los Angeles. I was in Hollywood. I was working on a film, and this is before I ever like lived or spent an extended period of time in Los Angeles. So I was doing a bunch of touristy things, and if you guys don't know, kind of like Mary Tyler Moore, Marilyn Monroe. In fact, I can't show you, but I have like a huge poster of her, Marilyn Monroe, lifting weights right here, just sitting on the floor. But she's just always been, I don't know, it's very hard to describe. She's somebody I always drew in my, my adolescence and through college. I love to draw Marilyn. There's a vulnerability about her. Despite what a lot of people might say, I do think that she was at times a splendid actress, and just the kind of the sadness, the tragedy of her life story, just always impacted me greatly. So, she's not completely like Mary Tyler Moore, but to a certain extent, Marilyn has always been this icon, this symbol in my mind. And I had this idea. I deliberated for a long time whether or not I wanted to do this, but I wanted to visit her final resting place, and I did. To pay my respects, to bring her some flowers. I actually once left her a set of candlesticks, just because I'm of course a candle person, but also that candle and the wind connection. I remember when one portrait I drew of her, I just listened to Elton John's "Candle in the Wind" 100,000 times over and over and over again while I was drawing this picture. But I had this idea of harmlessly I am very sorry about that alarm. I don't know how to stop it. It's gonna come up again. I'll figure it out. So I was trying to think of a way where I could go take a piece of clay. You know how some people go to a grave and they'll do a rubbing. They'll take a pencil or crayon and they'll go to the gravestone and do a rubbing. And this way you'll get a piece of tissue paper, a piece of paper with an imprint of the person's name, and whatever else it says on the tombstone. Well, Marilyn's final resting place, she's in an above ground tomb that's outdoors. She's like next to like Dean Martin and Buddy Rich. I mean, she's surrounded by such great company. I guess Hugh Hefner. I'm not sure if I know he owned the spot above hers. I don't know if he will be. I don't know. Anyway, but I wanted to figure out a way where I could take her final resting place. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. Her final resting place. There is no tombstone. It's just like what you would see in a mausoleum. There's just a single plaque. If you Google it, you do a kind of a Google image search, you'll see exactly what I mean. There's just a single plaque and a little place where you can put flowers. And usually when you go there, there's lipstick prints all over, because people go and they just leave their lipstick prints, like kiss the grave. And what's amazing is all of the other marble stones of that mausoleum have been bleached by the sun, have been worn and tethered throughout the years, but hers is so shiny and brand new because every day maintenance has to come and scrub the thing to get all of the lipstick off, so it's like in pristine condition. So my idea was, what if I took a piece of oil-based clay, meaning it wouldn't stick, a very hard piece of clay. It's called monster clay because it's what monster makers use to sculpt creatures out of. It's very hard to put a dent in it. You have to heat it up to make it flexible. So I took this big chunk of clay and I sat it on top of my dashboard in the Los Angeles heat, right, in my car. And because of the heat, it got very warm and it got soft, it got pliable. And I took the clay and I walked up to the plaque and I just took the clay and I pressed it up against Marilyn Monroe's plaque. Again, it's an oil-based clay. It wouldn't even leave a residue. There's nothing toxic in it. It's completely organic. I wouldn't have done anything if I felt like I was doing something bad or disrespectful to her plaque. But I just kind of made this clay impression and kind of pressed it as hard as I could just to make sure I was making a good impression. And then I popped it off, right? And I took it and I put it into the car and I turned on the air conditioner. And the air conditioner cooled down that clay, which made it rock hard again. Then I poured in a 2-part plastic resin. It's like two liquids, put them together, blend, or you mix, pour, and you pour it into essentially that mold that I made of the clay. And I was able to make a casting of her actual plaque. Now, I flew back to New York and I fixed it up. A few things had to be fixed up. It was never perfect, but I made a silicone mold of it 10 years ago now, 10 years ago. And I completely forgot about it. And then recently, several months ago, going through my storage, I came across all of my old molds, and I saw this Marilyn Monroe mold. I'm like, I have never used this thing. I mean, silicone molds are not inexpensive to make. And one day, after having a dream, I had a dream of Marilyn Monroe. I woke up and she was kind of on my mind, and I'm thinking, I remember that mold. And it just so happened that her birthday was a couple days before. And I said to myself, okay, I have some plastic, I have some products to make a few, some castings from the mold of the plaque. But I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So I made 4. And I want to show you what they look like. So here is an unpainted, unfinished. Now, obviously, this was made out of an impression of clay because it is not perfect, of course. There's warping. There's, the surfaces are a little crazy. But if you look at the finer details, it really does capture every little bit. It's warped, like they're right there. It's a little warping, but it really does capture everything that's on her plaque. And I don't know if you're like me, but when I finally finished this, because I had one in my office, not this office, but my office out in California, I had, it was just kind of a reminder, a little celebration of having a little piece of Marilyn around, and just a constant reminder of her story, the fact that she was a struggling artist. It spoke to me. There's certain things that people buy that speak to them, and when I make something, especially something that's meaningful like this, it really means a lot to me. So I made 4 of these. This is not finished. This will have a sheen, like a nice shine to it. But this is the color of the actual plaque. So this is hand painted. You can see it's essentially painted brown with a dry brush, metallic gold paint, and but I haven't put the final coating on it, which will give it this really shiny metallic finish, so it will look like it's really this not aged, that it's this bronze piece of metal, or whatever the metal is. So what I want to put out there is I have 4 of these, and the last thing I want to do is do something like post these on eBay and make it look like I'm trying to capitalize off of Marilyn Monroe's final resting place. So when I say I've deliberated this for a long time, this is what I mean. Like, I would, without an explanation, I could never put these up on eBay. That's why I never did anything with them. I made a mold, which implies I was going to produce them, but I never really had the heart to actually sell them. I just made one for myself, and that was it. But I know that there's people out there, kind of like myself, who might have an appreciation for Marilyn Monroe, like I do, and that these, having something like this might speak to them. So what I want you to do, I'm not going to put these up on eBay, but if you are interested in one of these, I have 4 of these. I can, I think this looks, this is, pearl white color, bright white. I almost like it just as much like this than I do it being painted. But send me an email, or in the comments section of this video, when this video is posted, if you would be interested in having, purchasing, or again, I guess pledging money for exchange for one of these. Let me know. If there's enough interest from you folks, then I will consider maybe do something where put them up on a private auction, share a link maybe on the Candle Enthusiast Facebook page, just to keep it like a transaction legit. But again, just like with everything that goes up on eBay, the money would be 100% for. I'm really at this point covered. What's more, what I'm trying to raise money for really now is more of growth of the aromatic adventure, and spending more time visiting places. And when you visit places, there's hotels involved or motels involved. You guys have seen the places I've stayed at, but it's money nonetheless. So this, I feel like, has a potential to really give somebody something that they would really cherish. It's a token that I think is very meaningful, but also could help with the funding of the Candle Enthusiast, or more specifically, Aromatic Adventures. So again, in the comments when this video is posted, in the email, candleenthusiast@yahoo, on Instagram, just however you can just, get in contact with me. If it's something that you're interested in, and I'd be completely open to hearing someone say, I think it's a bad idea. I don't think you should do that. I think that's it's wrong to kind of exploit Marilyn Monroe in that light. Because you know what? If someone said that, I might not disagree. I don't think I did exploit Marilyn Monroe by doing that to her gravestone. It was really more out of love and celebration. But the last thing I would ever want to do is offend somebody. So that's the whole Marilyn Monroe thing. I've been kind of alluding to this for a while, and I'm finally announcing it, that I have 4. I can make more. Maybe I can do a giveaway. We'll take it from there. But like I said, I have that mold that's unused, and there's no reason why I can't pull a bunch of castings out of it. Whew. Okay, so that's that. So the connection, Eric said I just turned into one of the creatures from They Live. Eric, obey. Obey, okay? You hear me? Cookie Hill says, Marilyn, very lonely, etc. Sad. A Gemini like me, birthdays are 2 days apart. I too love her. I would buy one, says Cookie Hill. So Cookie Hill, this is a perfect example. So that hearing that makes me feel a little bit better about approaching you guys with the notion of making these available. And I'm going back in the comments here, reading out of sync again, pixelating. Wow, it sounds like you guys are having a really tough time watching this live. I thought the Wi-Fi would be much better in here. Shane just turned into, okay, so we're at the bottom of the comments here. Very apropos that you would show us this on the date of her death. Like you, I have always had a thing for her. Is today the date of her death? If today is the date of, what day did Marilyn Monroe pass away? I swear on all of my candles that I did not do that on purpose. And again, that is kind of freaking me out. If today really is August 5th, today's August 5th, right? I don't want to make a big deal out of this. Hey Siri, what's today's date? August 5th. I swear I did not do this. Bring this up because of the anniversary of Marilyn Monroe's death. I don't know, man. I don't know how to quite explain my beliefs as far as spirituality or anything like that, but man, that is a little bit chilling. That is a little bit chilling. Synchronicity, Carl Jung. That's a little bit too big of a coincidence to just dismiss that. So yes, the anniversary of Marilyn Monroe's death. And as the plaque says, 1962. And if anyone has seen the book, The Complete Last Sittings of Marilyn Monroe, it was out of print for the longest time, but years ago I got my hands on one. It's a massive, huge coffee table book. Photography by Bert Stern, which is this 2-day photo shoot that took place two weeks before her very early, very sad passing. But that book has some of the most beautiful pictures ever taken, in my opinion, of Marilyn Monroe. Wow, that is bizarre. I'm still kind of shook up by that. Who mentioned it? I'm just so glad that somebody mentioned it. Was it Lou? Yeah, Lou brought it up. Let me turn the alarm off. I'm going away for a second. I'll be right back. Apologize for that. The issues we may have been having with the live stream Could have been the alarm that I had set on my phone. I don't know if I'm live again. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Oh no, I can't see myself. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for myself to pop up again. And people are disappearing. Well, am I live? Can anyone hear me? No one can hear me. Can you hear me? Somebody say something. Weird blunder. Am I back? Am I back?